Trustees, Committee on Faculty, Staff, and Administration. Please respond present when you hear your name. Chairperson Cortez Vasquez.
Present.
Excellent. Vice Chairperson Ken Sunshine.
Present.
Trustee Una Clark. I see her iPad, but I'm pretty sure she's here. She don't know if Una can hear us. Trustee Erminia Palacio.
Present.
Great. Trustee Angelo Vivolo.
Present.
Professor Karen Coughlin.
Present.
Great. Professor Maureen Matarese is in the, I'm going to admit her right now. Louis D'Amelio is the student rep. I didn't see him yet. But I do see Zvia Waronker, who's the student alternate. Welcome to, and introduce you to everyone. Welcome, Zvia.
Thank you.
Okay, terrific. And Professor Matarese, we will now mark you present. I think you, there we go. Great, thank you so much. So we have a quorum. This public meeting of the Committee on Faculty, Staff, and Administration is now called to order. I'd like to take a roll call attendance for members of the Chancellery, and there's a very long list of and invited guests, and we have a long list. Chancellor Matos Rodriguez.
Present.
General Counsel and Senior Vice Chancellor for Legal Affairs, Derek Davis.
Present.
Executive Vice Chancellor and University Provost, Daniel Lemons.
Present.
Great. Executive Vice Chancellor and Chief Operating Officer, Hector Batista.
Present.
Terrific. Senior Vice Chancellor, Glenda Grace. Let's see Glenda yet. Okay. Vice Chancellor Dorian Gloria.
Present.
Hey, Dorian. Okay. Vice Chancellor, Interim Vice Chancellor Andrea Shapiro Davis. Didn't see her yet either. Okay. President Iseka Negbi is the COPS liaison, and he's absent and excused. Actually, he is at a vigil for the fire in the Bronx, which was right near the college, which is very tragic. And then I see also we have President Rabb from Hunter College.
Hi.
Great. And President Daisy Coco de Felipias from Hostos.
Yes,
Daisy,
thank
okay.
you.
We also have Linda Essig, the Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs at Baruch.
Present.
Great. Patricia Price, the Associate Provost for Academic Administration, Faculty Development and Research at Baruch.
Present.
Terrific. Renata Miller, Interim Dean of Humanities and the Arts at City College. Hey,
Present.
Renata.
Yeah.
Great. Steve Everett, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs at the Graduate School and University Center.
Present.
Terrific. Peter Nwosu, the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs at Lehman College.
Present.
Elizabeth Henry, the Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost at Queens College.
Present.
And Alina Gorelick, I see from
Present.
okay, the advancement. Great. And then I'm going to admit the student trustee who's coming in now, Louis D'Amelio. I will mark you as present. Okay, Lorraine, it's all you.
All right. Given that all of the board members and staff are participating remotely, I will announce the resolution and ask for members to respond only if you would like to abstain or oppose, or if you at the discussion point want to have a discussion. Otherwise, your vote will be recorded as a yes vote. If you are voting no or abstaining, please state your name and your vote. Additionally, if you wish to second an item or have any questions, please state your name first for the record, and let's try to avoid speaking over one another. We have several items on the agenda, and I'm going to start with the simplest, which is the approval of the minutes of November 22nd, 2021. I move the approval of item 1A. Do I have a second?
Second it.
The last.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll now move to a vote. Hearing no abstentions or opposition, this item is approved. Now I would like to address item B, the policy calendar. Item B1 is the approval of the Committee of Faculty and Staff and Administration report. I will now call on Vice Chancellor Dorianne Gloria to provide further background on this item.
Thank you. The January CFSA report contains actions entered into the CUNY system of record between October 16th, 2021 and December 3rd, 2021. The report contains a total of 78 actions, including 39 appointments and reappointments with tenure, 12 fellowship leaves, and 15 ECP regular and interim appointments.
I move the approval of policy item B1. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Vice Chancellor Dorianne, I have a request, not a discussion item, but, or maybe the committee would like to opine on this also. You know, this is an item that we receive every month, which is the number of actions taken on behalf of the CUNY's HR department, as well as all of the actions and appointments and tenure and reappointments. So what I would ask is, rather than, you know, and I think for the sake of this meeting, we always want an aggregate number. But what we would ask is, and I would like the other committee members' opinion, is that at least once a quarter to give us a report on what those actions are by university, so that we can have a sense of the activity rather than just doing a pro forma approval. Any comments on that?
I think that's a very good idea. I think it makes our role, frankly, enhances our role on some level, and I would second that.
Thank you. I think not only it enhances, but I think it informs us in a way that I think right now we don't have. Any other comments on this? Hearing no other comments, I offer that suggestion to you, Vice Chancellor Dorianne Gloria, and look forward to, if you have any issues or concerns about this, be more than happy to talk with you about that offline. Okay?
Thank you.
Great. Policy item B2 is a resolution to appoint Dr. Latoro Yates as Vice President of Student Development and Enrollment Management at Eugenio Maria de Hostos Community College at the City University of New York. And there's going to be several items for Eugenio Maria de Hostos College. As you know, we recently appointed a president, and so this absolutely makes sense. So now I call on Vice Chancellor Dorianne Grace to provide further background on this item.
Dr. Yates has served with distinction at the cabinet level at your college as the Executive Director for Enrollment Management and as the Interim Vice President for Enrollment Management and Student Affairs, where he oversaw 15 offices, including admissions, financial aid, athletics, the Center for Students with Disabilities, the Counseling Center, Career Services, and the Women's Center. Under Dr. Yates' leadership, your college achieved 3 consecutive years of reaching the highest enrollment, full-time equivalent, and total headcount in its history, garnering approximately $90 million in tuition revenue. Dr. Yates holds a PhD in higher education leadership, management, and policy from Seton Hall University, an MA in business administration information systems from St. Peter's University, and a BS in accounting, minor in business management from St. Peter's University. The president highly recommends this appointment from a search. Thank you.
Thank you. I move the approval of policy item B2. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Ken. Any discussion on this item? Any comments from the president? Hearing
Yes.
none, will, oh, go ahead.
Okay, very briefly,
No,
just to
no, no.
thank you.
Yes, doctor. ¿Cómo estás?
Yes, just to thank you, that's all, for the support. He is, there was a process at the college, and all three of the candidates you'll see from us, where there was a process where there was an open forum, and everyone attended, over 100 participants in some instances, and he was actually, in the end, the favorite of the campus, and certainly my favorite.
Thank you. Thank you for that added information. And I will now call for a vote. Hearing no objections or abstention, this item is carried. Item B3 is a resolution to appoint Colette Atkins as Vice President for Institutional Advancement at Eugenio Maria de Hostos Community College at the City University of New York. Again, I will call on Vice Chancellor Dorian Gloria to provide further background on this item.
For the past 9 years, Ms. Atkins has served with distinction as Associate Vice President for Development at the College of Mount St. Vincent, a Hispanic and minority-serving liberal arts college in New York City, where her achievements included helping the college surpass its campaign fundraising goal by $29 million to reach a comprehensive campaign total of $71 million, and serving as the lead solicitor responsible for bringing in multiple multi-million-dollar planned gift expectancies that significantly contributed to the campaign. During her tenure at Mount St. Vincent, the number of donors giving at least $25,000 annually increased by 60%, and the annual fund rose from $800,000 to $2.1 million. Through Ms. Atkins' leadership, the College of Mount St. Vincent's planned Giving Society membership rose from 100 to 300 individuals, and the college received millions of dollars in gifts and pledges, raising the college's endowment by 500%. Ms. Atkins holds an MA in Business Administration and Finance from NYU Stern School of Business and a BA in History from the University of Michigan in the Honors Program. The president highly recommends this appointment from the search. Thank you.
Thank you. I move this item for approval. Item B3. Do I have a second?
Second, Angelo Vivo.
Hi, thank you, Angelo. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll now vote on this item. Seeing that there are no abstentions or oppositions, this item passes, and please congratulate Dr. Atkins and her impressive fundraising abilities. Policy item B4 is a resolution to appoint Evelyn Fernandez Ketchum as Vice President of Continuing Education and Workforce Development at Eugenia Maria de Hostos Community College at the City University of New York. I now call again on Vice Chancellor Dorian Gloria to provide further background on this item.
For the past 8 years, Evelyn A. Fernandez Ketchum has served as Executive Director of Workforce Development in the Continuing Education and Workforce Development Division at Hostos Community College, where she has skillfully managed multiple grants, including the Health Profession Opportunity Grants, which are administered by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for children and families. Through this grant, Hostos Community College receives approximately $2.1 million annually to provide education and training to temporary assistance for needy families program recipients and other low-income individuals for occupations in the healthcare field. Ms. Fernandez Ketchum has been the distinguished recipient of multiple awards, including the Obama White House Leadership Project Contest, the Columbia University Community Impact David Joyce Award for Commitment to Public Service, and the Close Up Foundation Leadership Award for Advancing Civic Literacy. Ms. Fernandez Ketchum is a PhD candidate at the Yeshiva University Wurzweiler School of Social Work and holds an MS from the Columbia University School of Social Work and a BA in psychology from Marymount College. The president highly recommends this appointment from the search. Thank you.
I move the approval of policy item D4. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ken. Any discussion? Hearing none, we will now move it for a vote. Hearing no abstentions or objections, this item carries. Policy item B5 is a resolution to appoint Dr. Michal Dikal as Distinguished Professor at the City College of New York of the City University of New York. I now call on Executive Vice Chancellor Dan Lemons to provide further background on this item. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Chair Cortez Vasquez, and good evening to everyone. Reviewing and recommending candidates for the appointment to DP and presenting them to this committee is really one of the highlights of my job. These four candidates are no exception. So I'm very pleased to present them to you. The first one, Dr. Michal Dikal, is internationally recognized as a scholar of comparative literature, Jewish studies, and cultural history. Having published 3 influential single-authored books, as well as 14 peer-reviewed journal articles and numerous newspapers and magazine articles and book reviews, Dr. Dikal received a National Foundation for the Humanities Faculty Research Fellowship and has served as the director of the Rifkin Center for the Humanities and the Arts at City College since 2016. To add more to this, I would like to invite my esteemed colleague, who I'm pleased to see again this evening, Dr. Renata Miller, who's the Interim Dean of Humanities at the Arts and Humanities and the Arts.
Good to see you too, Dan. It's my very great honor to be here to represent City College in supporting Michal's nomination for Distinguished Professor. Michal is not only a distinguished scholar and a beloved teacher at City College, but she's also an extremely generous colleague. Her work as the director of our Rifkin Center in Humanities and the Arts has created a community of scholars that has supported the development of junior faculty at City College and has also attracted scholars and artists from outside of City College to our Rifkin Center as a place from which they derive intellectual sustenance and inspiration. So I really can't think of a better person to represent City College with the title of Distinguished Professor than Michal.
Thank you very much. Now, I move the approval of policy item B5. Do I have a second?
Second, Palacio.
Hello, how are you, Armenia? Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll now go for a vote. Please respond only if you are abstained or opposed. Hearing no abstentions or objections, this item has been carried. Item B6 is to appoint Dr. Glenn Berger as Distinguished Professor at Queens College of the City University of New York. Again, I turn to Executive Vice Chancellor Dan Lemons.
Thank you. Dr. Glenn Berger is an international expert in medieval English literature, medieval cultural studies, medieval gender and sexuality studies, post-colonial theory, queer theory, and affect studies. He's published 2 very influential single-authored books, and he's considered a pioneer not only in medieval studies, but in sexuality and queer theory studies as well. I'd like to invite my esteemed colleague from Queens College, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Elizabeth Hendry, to add to that.
Thank you. I'd say Dr. Berger's scholarly record is very distinguished, but I would also point to the fact that while he was compiling that scholarly record, he also served as chair of one of our largest departments, hired and mentored many new faculty members, oversaw revision of our writing curriculum, and served as acting dean of graduate studies. So I think all around, as a scholar, as a teacher, and as administrator, he's a wonderful colleague, and we're very pleased to nominate him for distinguished professor.
So I move the approval of policy item B6. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? We'll now vote. Hearing no objections or abstentions, this item carries. I'm impressed. I would love to know about medieval gender studies. I didn't even think you would study gender in the medieval times. Policy item B7 is a resolution to support Dr. Herman Burnett as Distinguished Professor at the Graduate Center of the City University of New York. Again, I'm calling on Executive Vice Chancellor Dan Lemons to provide information.
Thank you. Dr. Herman Bennett is an internationally recognized expert in the history of African diaspora with a particular focus on Latin American history. He's published 3 single-authored books as well as 6 articles and over 50 papers and panel presentations. And Dr. Bennett has received nearly 20 professional honors, awards, and fellowships, including from the Johns Hopkins Society of Scholars and the Mellon Foundation. He's considered the top US-based historian of the Afro diaspora before the 19th century, and among the very top such historians in the world. This time I invite my esteemed colleague, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Steve Everett of the Graduate Center, to say more about this proposal.
Thank you, Dr. Lemons. Yes, Herman is a groundbreaking researcher in the field of African American studies, but really in the Latin American and Mexican domain. No one has really achieved the kind of scholarship level that he has done in this. If you don't have time to read his 3 books on this, I would suggest the 4th book that he's working on currently, which is The African Diaspora, a very short introduction. So maybe that you'd have time to take a look at that. And that's really what I'm looking forward to seeing as well when he comes out with that. He's been really remarkable faculty, as many other people have mentioned. He was not just in the history department, but he contributed to the Africana Studies, the American Studies program, Renaissance Studies, globalization and social change. He's been one of the strong intellectual leaders of the department for many years here. So we really, everyone is very excited about his possibility of being a distinguished professor.
Thank you so much. I move the approval of item B7. Do I have a second?
Angelo Vivo, I second it.
Thank you so much. We'll now call a vote. Any discussion? Sorry. Hearing none, we'll now call a vote. That item carries. Congratulations, Dr. Bennett. Item B8 is the appointment of Helena Rosenblatt as Distinguished Professor at the Graduate Center at the City University. Again, Interim Executive Vice Chancellor Dan Lemons will provide some background.
Thank you. Dr. Helena Rosenblatt's an internationally recognized scholar of intellectual history, the French Revolution, the Enlightenment, and liberalism. She's received multiple honors and awards, including the Guggenheim Foundation Fellowship. She's considered a leading intellectual historian whose reputation is based on a solid body of work. And once again, I'd like to invite my esteemed colleague, Provost Everett from the Graduate Center, to say more about this proposed action.
Thank you, Dr. Lemons. Once again, a scholar who really was groundbreaking in the topic and the way that she did her work. The history of liberalism from the Enlightenment forward, with the French Revolution included in that, extraordinary work that has really defined a whole field of knowledge around how liberalism has come to be something we all accept today. So everybody in the intellectual world of intellectual history has acknowledged this work. I think by the awards we've seen, for me, just a really fantastic contributor to the department. We're very excited to have her join the distinguished professorship ranks as well.
Thank you so much. I move the approval of item B8. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you so much. How are you?
Great.
Happy
How are
New Year.
you?
Great. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move on for a vote. No abstentions or opposition. This item carries. Congratulations, Dr. Rosenblatt. Policy item B9 is to award Ivan Montiel with early tenure at Baruch College with an application of bylaw 6.2 C2. I now call again on interim Executive Vice Chancellor Dan Lemons.
Thank you. Professor Ivan Montiel is held in the highest regard by the international scholarly community for his research examining how companies tackle challenges. He's a prolific scholar with an impressive rate of journal article publication in top-ranked publications. He's also steadily and successfully secured highly competitive university funding for his scholarship, including 11 grants. At this time, I invite my esteemed colleague, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Linda Essig of Baruch College, to say more about this proposed action.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak on behalf of Professor Ivan Montiel. He has an outstanding record of scholarship in the field of corporate ethics and environmental sustainability. One of the external reviewers who reviewed his file called his work quite literally field shaping. And his department chair notes that his is the strongest publication record of all the candidates I know of at Baruch, and that's in the Department of Management. His publication productivity is truly outstanding, with 8 recent publications in top-ranked journals, which is 4 times the amount one usually sees when somebody goes up for tenure in the field of management. He's not only a productive researcher, he's also an outstanding teacher. In 2020, he won the Zicklin School of Business Teaching Excellence Award, and nationally was recognized in 2019 by a teaching award from the Academy of Management. He has my strongest support.
Thank you so much. I move the approval of item B9. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll now move for a vote. Seeing that there are no abstentions or objections, this item carries. Now we'll go to item B10, which is to award Zing Hao with early tenure, and please forgive me if I pronounce that incorrectly, at Baruch College with an application of bylaw 6.2 C2. Again, interim Executive Vice Chancellor Dan Lemons will provide background information.
Thank you. Professor Zhao is considered a rising star in the field of organized psychology with a professional record that exceeds the expectation of faculty being considered for tenure and promotion. He is celebrated for the scope of his methodological approach and his study of workplace mistreatment and employee health, which has positioned him to impact both research and practice. Once again, I'd like to invite my esteemed colleague, Provost Essig of Baruch College, to say more about this action.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Professor Zhao is a rising star in the field of industrial and organizational psychology, specifically in the area of workplace violence and mistreatment, task interface, and work, non-work interface or balance, as we often call it. We lay people, I would say, often call it. He also has been an extraordinarily productive scholar, as well as an excellent teacher. And I know too that his work has garnered significant external support, including a large 6-figure grant from the NSF that he's working on right now with colleagues and also graduate students through the Graduate Center. So he too has my strong support for early tenure.
Thank you very much. I move the approval of policy item B10. Do I have a second? A second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll now move for a vote. Please respond only if you abstained or opposed. Hearing no abstentions or opposition, this item carries. Congratulations. Now I will go to item B11 to award James Lowry with early tenure at Queens College with the application of bylaw 6.2 C2. Again, Interim Executive Vice Chancellor Dan Lemons will provide some background.
Thank you. Dr. James Lowry is a well-regarded international figure in the study of public records, the nature of information contained in records and archives, and the preservation of and access to information. He's been actively involved in the formation of actionable policies to resolve issues related to public document access and ownership across nations and cultures, within nations, and in the diasporas where immigrants reside. Again, I'd like to invite my esteemed colleague, Provost Henry from Queens College, to say more about this proposed action.
Dr. Lowry came to us actually only a couple of years ago, but already with a very impressive background and as an international expert in the field of displaced archives, which I think are very important. These are archives that have been removed from the country of origin. In this era of diaspora, the policies around that, I think, access to those documents and preservation is very important. Since coming to Queens College, he has continued his work, publishing 5 articles, 4 chapters, developing new courses, serving as deputy chair, and we feel that he has more than met the bar for early tenure, and we're pleased to put him forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I move the approval of item B11. Do I have a second?
Second.
Angelo.
Okay, any discussion? We will vote now. Hearing no abstentions or objections, this item carries. Item B12 is to award Jennifer Calder with immediate tenure at Lehman College with a waiver of bylaw 6.2B. Again, I call on Executive Vice Chancellor Dan Lemon.
Thank you. Dr. Jennifer Calder is the former director of health for the city of Stamford, Connecticut, and a senior lecturer at Columbia University, Mailman School of Public Health. Dr. Calder was credited with taking the lead during the COVID-19 crisis, resulting in the city of Stamford being well ahead of the cities in Connecticut in containing COVID-19, having the highest rate of vaccination and the lowest rate of infection in the state. At this time, I invite my esteemed colleague, Provost Peter Mosu from Lehman College, to say more about this proposed action.
Thank you, Provost Lemons. Dr. Calder has had a very distinguished career as in public health, as a scholar, as well as a practitioner, as you heard from the university provost. She's an international scholar, an immigrant, by the way, with a full understanding of the full range of diversity at both Lehman and the City University of New York. We're delighted to have her on our campus and look forward to your support.
Thank you so much. I move the approval of item B12. And do I have a second?
Second, Angelo. Vivo.
Thank you so much. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll now move for a vote. Hearing no abstentions or objections, this item carries, and please congratulate Jennifer Calder. Item B13 is to name the Jack and Barbara Sobel Classroom and the Jack and Barbara Sobel Scholarship at Baruch College of the City University of New York. I now call Senior Vice Chancellor Glenda Grace to provide some background on this item.
Good
Welcome.
evening. Good evening, everyone. I'm in a space where I'm a little worried about the Wi-Fi, so I'm going to be relying on my esteemed colleague, Associate Vice Chancellor Alina Gorlek, to make sure to give the background. So I'm going to turn it over to Alina for this resolution as well as the next 4.
Thank you.
Sounds great. So the first resolution to name the Jack and Barbara Sobel Classroom and the Jack and Barbara Sobel Scholarship at the Baruch College is as follows. Jack Sobel is a CUNY alum who graduated from Baruch College in 1959 and has been a financial services professional for over 30 years. Mr. Sobel and his wife Barbara are generous philanthropists, and on December 17th, 2020, they made a donation to the Baruch College Fund in the amount of $500,000, $500,000. This gift consisted of 3 portions. $145,000 was designated to establish the Jack and Barbara Sobel Endowed Scholarship with the following criteria: incoming freshmen or currently matriculated students who demonstrate academic promise and would benefit from scholarship support. There are no other limitations. And an additional $5,000 went to a spend down scholarship that could be used immediately to fund a scholarship with the same criteria. The remaining $350,000 was completely unrestricted, which Baruch College wishes to recognize by naming room 3-160 in the vertical campus the Jack and Barbara Sobel Classroom. Both of these namings associated with this donation satisfy the naming opportunities policy in full and greatly exceed the required amount of gifts for each category.
Thank you very much. I approve the approval of policy item B13. Do I have a second? Any discussion? I'm sorry, do I have a second? Got ahead of myself.
Second, Palacio.
Thank you. Any discussion? We'll now call for a vote. Hearing no abstentions or oppositions, this item carries. Policy item B14 is to name Arthur W. Weiss Room at Baruch College for the City University of New York. Again, I defer to Glenda Grace, but she's referring to her colleague. Thank you. Can you give us some further background on this?
Sure thing. Jamie M. Weiss is another CUNY alum who earned his Bachelor of Business Administration degree from Baruch College in 1969. Mr. Weiss currently serves as the president of Weiss Realty Company Incorporated, which represents a diverse portfolio of commercial, industrial, and retail properties. But he started his career as an industrial sales trainee while attending night school at Baruch College. Mr. Weiss worked his way up and by 1986 was a leading industrial broker in the nation. On November 13, 2019, he made a gift of $52,017 to the Baruch College Fund to celebrate the memory of his father, Arthur Weiss. This gift was fully unrestricted, and to honor this donation, Baruch College wishes to name a small classroom in the Kaplan Computing Center on the 6th floor of the Information and Technology Building, the Arthur W. Weiss Room. This naming opportunity is also in full compliance with the policy, which requires a minimum of $50,000 to name a small classroom at CUNY Senior College.
Thank you so much. I move the approval of policy item B14. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you so much. Any discussion? Hearing none, we will now move for a vote. Hearing no abstentions or objections, this item carries. Congratulations, Baruch. Policy item B15 is to name the Harlem Health Fellowship Award in Health Communications for Social Change at the CUNY Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy of the City University of New York. Again, I'm calling on the administrative staff to provide some background on this.
Sure. Ruth Wooden has had a distinguished career in marketing and public policy communications, which spanned over 4 decades. She has served on the CUNY SPH Foundation Board since 2019 and currently chairs the Communications Committee. She serves as the resident expert and leader in all communications and public relations matters. Ms. Wooden has an exemplary record of service to nonprofits focused on public health. Her commitment to the communications program at CUNY SPH is matched only by her desire to support Harlem organizations to better communicate their mission or their needs. Seeking to bring CUNY SPH students and their communications expertise to community-based organizations in Harlem, Ms. Wooden pledged $125,000 to the CUNY SPH Foundation to establish the Harlem Health Fellowship Award in Health Communications for Social Change. Students eligible for this award will be enrolled in the Master of Science in Health Communications for Social Change program at CUNY SPH. They will be paired with a Harlem-based nonprofit organization to develop and implement a health communication strategy as a consultative and strategic partner. Ms. Wooden will complete this commitment with 5 annual installments on or before January 31st of 2027, which satisfies the naming policy in full.
Thank you so much. I move the approval of item B15. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Thank you so much. Any discussions? We'll now move to a vote. Hearing no abstentions or oppositions, this item carries. Congratulations and thank you for that generous gift. Item B16 is to name Dr. Alan E. and Joan A. Dumont Endowed Scholarship at Hunter College of the City University of New York. I now call on administrative staff. Thank you so much for giving us some background on this item.
Sure. Dr. Alan E. Dumont and his wife, Joan A. Dumont, had extensive careers in healthcare and education. Dr. Dumont served on the faculty of NYU for 37 years, while Mrs. Dumont worked as an assistant dean at Pace University and the director of volunteer services at Bellevue Hospital. Seeking to celebrate the lives of their parents, brothers Mark and David Dumont pledged $100,000 to the Hunter College Foundation to establish an endowed scholarship to support students interested in healthcare. Dr. Alan E. and Joan A. Dumont Endowed Scholarship will be available to full-time undergraduate students with demonstrated financial needs, with a preference for those planning to pursue a career in healthcare or social work, and those employed at Bellevue Hospital who are looking to further their education. This commitment will be completed with 2 annual payments on or before December 31st, 2022. The proposed naming is again in full compliance with the naming policy, which requires the exact amount, $100,000, for an endowed scholarship at a senior college.
Thank you so much. I move the approval of item B16. Do I have a second?
Second, Alasia.
Gracias. Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll now move for a vote. Hearing no abstentions or objections, this item carries. Congratulations, Hunter College, and thank you to the Dumont family. Now we go to item B17, which is to approve the naming opportunities in the DNA Learning Center at New York College of Technology of the City University of New York. Again, I call on our esteemed staff to help provide some background on this item.
In June 2017, the Board of Trustees approved the lease agreement between City Tech and Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory, which enabled Cold Spring Harbor to develop the DNA Learning Center on the 2nd floor of the PER building at City Tech. This center will provide scientific research, education, and teaching opportunities for college and pre-college students, educators, and the public in the field of modern biology and genetics. The center will also serve City Tech students. Cold Spring Harbor Labs is solely responsible for all development, construction, and operational costs of this facility, and they raised over $17 million for this project. Among the wide range of philanthropists and foundations who contributed to this initiative were Lori Landau Foundation, Mr. Paul Tubman, the Jerome Levy Foundation, and the Pfizer Foundation. To recognize the renovations to the Pearl Building at City Tech and the opportunities for City Tech students, which were made possible by the donors to the Cold Spring Harbors initiative, the following rooms in the Pearl Building are to be named for the duration of the lease as follows. Room P-210 is to be named the David Mickles Room, and room P-222 is to be named Claire Landau Conference Room, in celebration of the donations secured by Dr. Lori Landau. These included $11 million from the Lori Landau Foundation and an additional $350,000 to create camp scholarships for underprivileged students. The exhibit space on the northern side of the second floor of the Pearl Building is to be named the Sylvia Tubman Exhibit Space in honor of Paul Tubman's donation of $4.7 million in memory of his mother, Sylvia. She had received a degree in chemistry from Brooklyn College, worked as a bacteriologist for the city of New York, and taught biology at Syosset High School. Room P-211 is to be named the Jerome Levy Foundation Room to mark the $1 million received from the Jerome Levy Foundation. This gift was made at the direction of trustee Shelby White, who supports a wide range of philanthropic initiatives, including those with an impact in Brooklyn. And finally, room P-209 is to be named the Pfizer Foundation Room in recognition of the $1 million the foundation contributed to the DNA Learning Center project. These namings are proposed only for the duration of the lease agreement between New York City College of Technology and Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory.
Thank you very much. That's quite impressive. I move the approval of policy item B17. Do I have a second?
Angelo Violo, second.
Thank you so much. Any discussion? Any comments?
Wonderful donation.
Yeah, I agree.
Go City Tech, finally.
Wow.
I know. I remember when that was the DNA Learning Center was a concept that we thought about. I mean, that was brought to us a few years ago. So it's great. So I move the, I will now call for a vote. Hearing no abstentions or oppositions, this item carries. Congratulations, City Tech. Yeah. Woo-hoo. Hearing that there are no more items on this agenda, I have to move for an adjournment of this meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, great. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very, very much. And thank you for providing us the background information. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.